Welcome to the Pasta Parcel, a short monthly video where we'll discuss all things Durum. From price to pasta, CHS Broadbent have got you covered. I'm Jamie Maunder, your host for today. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? Over to you, Todd.
To get us rolling, we're going to start this month's parcel with a fun fact about Durum. Did you know DR1 is 13% protein and produces semolina that has a uniform particle size which allows the pasta to be strong and elastic? Now you've had your fill of fun for the day, let's get a bit more technical with our American friend Ryan Caffrey.
Hello, I'm Ryan Caffrey from CHS, and I'm here to talk to you about the global Durum market. First, let's start with planted acres. In Europe, we've got about an unchanged acreage report, and our prospects for tonnage, for yields are about unchanged from last year. Italy may be up just a bit. Last year they had a little bit of a smaller crop, just under 4 million tons. This year we're looking forward to rebound just over 4 to maybe 4.1 million tons. In the U.S., we're seeing about a 5% increase in planted acres. A durum crop is a lot better returns so far versus spring wheat. Also in Canada, we're going to see about a 10% increase in acres forecasted by StatsCan last week. We look for that area actually to increase a bit and could end up as high as maybe 15% more acres just on a planted area. Let's look at the demand piece. Right now, everyone's in the midst of the COVID environment. Demand for pasta globally is actually very strong, as families are at home and they're using more pasta in their food, in their diets. So this is actually really strong for demand, and we actually forecast that to continue moving forward. Imports in Italy last year were 1.73 million tons. This year we look for them to be very, very much right on par with that, even with the increased production in Italy. Looking globally, our other big demand point is North Africa. Those areas are very heavily reliant on oil as part of their currency and where they get the money. So Algeria, Morocco, those countries probably have just a slower step back in their demand from last year's levels. And with that, I'll wrap up this week's market report. Thank you.
I'll quickly run over the major drivers giving us favourable conditions for the early stages of the durum crop. Firstly, with the sea surface temperatures. The Indian Ocean dipole is in a weak negative phase, but it's also basin-wide is warmer than average. So in simple terms, we're seeing more moisture tracking on the westerly winds to our east coast. For the equatorial Pacific, where the La Nina El Nino terminology comes from, we've seen cooling over the last 2 months. It currently remains in a neutral territory and is expected to be well behaved for 2020. The subtropical ridge is responsible for dividing the seasons at the New South Wales-Queensland border. For this time of year, the band of highs is further north than usual, and what we're seeing is that New South Wales is experiencing above average rainfall due to the stronger westerly winds, and north in Queensland is experiencing more stable dry conditions. It's then up to the Baden-Julian Oscillation, or the MJO, to determine when these rain events occur. The MJO is an eastward moving cloud base that takes about 45 days to circle the equator. While this time around it's not particularly active, it's expected to move north of us in the next 2 weeks, and that supports the forecaster's expectation of a subsequent rain event near the end of the month. The overall rainfall outlook does look favourable for this season. However, we need to be mindful at this time of year forecasters will reference the predictability barriers. In our autumn, it becomes particularly inaccurate forecasting for the preceding months. So enjoy the conditions, but be careful of holding too much conviction on what it might mean for our conditions in the spring. So to pop a bow on this neat pasta parcel, Sam Toll is going to tell us what this means for our farmers.
We're at property out in southern New South Wales here today. They're finishing off sowing some oats for the hay market down here. They're well through their program. So we'll give you a quick recap on planting hectares today across the country. Canola is pretty much 100% in the ground. Barley to probably 90% of the way done. A bit of barley still to go in southern Victoria and WA. And on wheat, we're thinking 60-65% planted on milling wheats. On the durum market side of things, durum prices are fantastic at the moment. At Moree today, we're at $3.89 for durum 1. We have spreads to durum 2 and durum 3. Growers can either lock in on fixed or floating contracts on those particular contracts. We're also pricing down at the Griffith site at GrainLink at Wommagal. Prices there today are around $3.57 for durum 1. That's a very quick recap from us. Back to you. Thanks, Jamie.
That's it for this month's Pasta Parcel. If you have any questions on today's chat, or if you have any topics you would like to discuss, let us know by emailing us on the address that you can see on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in for next month's Pasta Parcel. Goodbye.